to a brand new installment of the news on Canal.
The accident resulted in a crash. It is feared more lives will be lost before long. Elsewhere, a recent study has revealed that budgetary allocations in the southern parts of the country receiving more fundings than the entire Grand North as rural areas suffer policies, society groups from administration abandoning the Department of Government Efficiency amid rising tensions and a collapsing fortune with his businesses on the brink. The world's richest man is betting it all on a comeback, turning his focus back to Tesla and SpaceX before it's too late. Ife.
This edition from Matom on the Douala-Yaoundé Highway, where a gory accident earlier today left over half a dozen people dead. Latest figures put the death toll at 7 as we speak. Early eyewitness accounts indicate a violent collision between a truck and a public transport bus, resulting in the bloodshed. It is believed the crash might have been caused by an earlier unreported accident. In a terrifying chain reaction, up to 10 vehicles were involved in the ensuing pile-up. Traffic was blocked for several hours as rescue teams worked to clear the wreckage as well as assist the injured. Now, on another sad note, a family in Sang-Melima in the south region of Cameroon has been gripped by despair for the situation that is causing the steady deterioration of the health of her mother. Maureen reports.
J'ai perdu ma fille le jour de mercredi. Elle a quitté le matin. Elle porte sa tunique avec son sac, partait à l'école. Sans retour à la maison.
The Lamgong family is in distress following the disappearance of their 14-year-old daughter, Sa Li Falun, a first-year electrical student at SOCIETE of Sang-Melima. Sa left home on May 21 to attend school and has not returned since. Her absence has plunged the family into a deep despair.
Mon grand frère, si tu continues ça, il va te crier à ton l'autre grand frère pour te taper.
Efforts to locate Star have so far been unsuccessful. Her mother, Lamgong Elizabeth, the situation has taken a toll on her health, underscoring the urgency of the matter.
Je cherchais partout, je ne l'ai pas trouvé.
According to Star's other sister, Lamgong Sandrine, a disagreement over a phone, SIM cards with the older brother may have preceded her disappearance. The family wishes to assure Star the rating health. In the meantime, the Lamgong family, originally from the northwest region, is appealing to the community for assistance in locating their daughter. Return home.
Of seasoned bursted reporting.
A well-armed gang of 7 ready to kill victims in the course of their different operations in and around the capital city. Their modus operandi involves selecting victims around banking institutions, observing their spending, closely following their targets with motorcycles to their homes, with pistols, cutlasses, daggers and other weapons to assault and rob valuable items and money. The stolen objects transported to their hideout through this car, also a stolen one. Their victims are quite many with unforgettable memories.
Phone, money, and laptop. Think just about your life. No other thing in your mind.
Quand les gars te prennent la haie plutôt, on nous entraîne dans la maison. Ils font le rideau, wang.
Crackdown by the elements of the Directorate of Judicial Police. Their presentation 27-2025 is an occasion to caution the population on basic precautionary measures.
Advise the public to be vigilant. Let them bring their list.
The hunt continues to apprehend 3 members of the gang still on the run.
And now at the central market right here in Douala, tensions are escalating as small-scale traders protest their eviction from the sidewalks. They've been asked to remain prohibitive and they lack alternatives, as you tell us, Sherif Asali.
For more than a year, new shops at the central market in Douala have stood largely empty. According to traders, the cost of renting a space at 10 million CFA francs makes them inaccessible to the majority of small business owners. In the absence of affordable shop space, many vendors have continued to sell goods on sidewalks and open spaces surrounding the market shops and continue our business. However, in recent weeks, municipal authorities have stepped up enforcement, removing traders from public areas and using tear gas to disperse crowds. These actions have sparked anger among the displaced vendors who say they are being punished for a situation beyond their control. Many rely on their informal businesses for daily income and claim they have no alternative location to operate from. I grew up watching my mother sell here. Her small business paid for our food and school fees and everything we needed. After graduating, I couldn't find a job, so I returned here to survive. This place now puts food on my table. But today, the new shops are just too expensive for us to afford. The traders are now calling on the mayor of Douala to intervene and provide access to reasonably priced shops that will allow them to relocate legally and safely.
And now, a couple of weeks ago, the government convened a national forum aimed at addressing the country's growing urban wastes and roadways, threatening public health, as well as tarnishing the images of cities like Douala. Here's Latte Cynthia reporting.
In St. Nicholas neighborhoods, fresh produce vendors display their goods besides waste that has spilled back onto the streets. The situation at Pekadis market is just as serious. Here, visibly overflowing bins do little to discourage people from dumping more trash around them. Scattered trash on sidewalks and garbage spilled in the streets. Waste is making a strong comeback in Douala.
C'est pas vivable, c'est juste que on supporte. La poubelle c'est partout. Nous-mêmes nous sommes dépassés.
Just meters away in Dokpasi neighborhood within the Douala 3 subdivision, the scene is clearly visible, affecting local businesses and raising renewed concerns about public health.
Les dégâts des maladies pendant la saison pluvieuse.
Ça nous amène les moustiques, les maladies.
In Pekawit at Valley St. Thomas, waste block a drainage channel and forces residents into frequent cleanup efforts to prevent flooding. A similar scenario is unfolding along the Dakar stretch, where familiar challenges are resurfacing.
Nous avons travaillé pour déboucher le pont parce que quand il pleut, l'eau remonte très rapidement.
Beyond these mountain piles of waste, potholes continue to plague Douala's roads, compounding the daily struggles of residents, overlapping challenges threatening to further degrade the quality of life in the city.
Meantime, trickling reports the three regions that make up Northern Canal. It is heaping blame on what it calls discriminatory budgetary allocation, and also adds that some divisions in the southern parts of the country get funded.
A report by the Cameroonian civil society organization Terre et Développement has revealed stark disparities in the 2024 national budget allocation, with the Grand North receiving a fraction of the funding compared to other regions. Analysts argue that this budgetary imbalance is accelerating food insecurity and environmental degradation across the far north, and Adamawa regions. The study criticizes government's failure to factor in population density and regional needs when planning expenditures. The report reveals that some single divisions in the south or west regions are receiving more than all three northern regions combined. At a recent roundtable in the north involving local officials, civil society actors, and were blamed for neglecting rural areas, contributing to mass migration to urban centers and beyond. Even senior members of government, including cabinet ministers, were directly criticized for failing to act. The updated report, which now incorporates testimonies from this meeting, is expected to be submitted to the presidency in the coming weeks. his findings could challenge the current administration's development strategy and ignite fresh debate about national cohesion and equitable resource allocation.
And in politics, you would remember that sometime last week we reported on a collaboration deal inked between Elections Cameroon and the United Nations in the capital. There were heated debates across points of the agreement.
The 3 billion francs CFA technical assistance agreement signed between Elections Cameroon, ELECAM, and the United Nations has not gone down well with some opposition leaders and political observers. The Cameroon Renaissance Movement, the CRM of Maurice Kamto Espoir Matomba, have strongly criticized the agreement and raised questions over the true intent behind the deal. To electoral rights experts, it is not a surprise that the UN is intervening in Cameroon's electoral process.
This is not the first time Elections Cameroon has sought support from the United Nations. The UN has been involved in several elections in the country in 2007, 2011, 2013 and 2018, establishing a tradition of its involvement to many Cameroonians, prompting interest in its details.
L'histoire des Nations Unies
The United Nations has a long history of supporting elections, especially in Africa, by providing training, assistance, and such agreement with the UN should not be controversial.
Serge Espoir Matomba. Some critics question the rationale behind turning to the United Nations for electoral support rather than relying on existing African regional
concerns about sideline. Why bypass regional institutions in favor of the UN?
ELECAM, however, maintains that the support from the United Nations, which spans the 2025 to 2027 electoral year, is purely technical and advisory, aimed at boosting institutional capacity ahead of crucial electoral deadlines in the coming years.
Government efficiency. Observers say mounting tensions in Washington might have well forced him out. Sherifa Saleh.
Elon Musk is stepping down from his high-profile role in the Trump administration to focus on his struggling businesses. After months at the helm of the Department Google is walking away, citing growing tensions in Washington and the mounting pressure on his companies. Musk was brought into the lead of the Department for Government Efficiency with the goal of slashing $2 trillion from the U.S. government's budget. Though the agency claims to have saved $160 billion, doubts over these numbers have sparked criticism. The department also aimed to cut 100,000 federal jobs, but its efforts, including the controversial dismantling of USAID, marked by clashes with key figures like Senator Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Even Trump had to remind by $100 billion, mainly due to the falling Tesla stock. Musk is returning to his tech giants, Tesla and SpaceX, in a desperate bid to revive his empire. Will the world's richest man bounce back from this turbulent chapter? Only time will tell.
And that's where we draw the curtain between French at 1950. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Take care.